Before anything else, drop a like right now and subscribe to the channel, because that massively strengthens the content and makes sure you keep receiving deep, straight-to-the-point analysis with no messing about on everything that truly matters for the Golden State Warriors. With that done, let's get to what matters, because the situation is serious and the moment calls for an honest conversation. As the trade market starts to properly heat up in the NBA, one name keeps dominating the background chatter around the Golden State Warriors: Jonathan Kuminga. It's not new, but the noise around him isn't fading. If anything, it's only getting louder. The Warriors are once again staring at a decision that could define not just this season, but the next few years of the franchise. Kuminga, a 23-year-old wing, has practically vanished from the rotation. Since the first week of December, he's logged less than 10 total minutes on the floor. That isn't a small detail. It's a clear sign that something isn't working. Right now, the Warriors are stuck in the middle of the Western Conference pack. They're not fighting at the top, but they haven't completely sunk either. The problem is time doesn't wait for anyone. The trade deadline is closing in fast, and around the league the sense is that patience is running out. When a young athletic player who's supposedly part of the future is buried on the bench exactly when the team is trying to win now, other executives notice. They're watching, analyzing, and shaping their offers around that reality. The read from outside San Francisco is simple and brutal. If the coach doesn't trust Kuminga enough to play him, why would another team pay a premium for him? That's the central issue. Market value doesn't collapse overnight, but it gets chipped away game after game when the player doesn't get on the court, or only gets scraps. What was possible last summer isn't reality anymore. Offers that used to exist have simply disappeared. There was a recent moment when a first-round pick was on the table. Protected, yes, but still a valuable pick. Today, that same conversation isn't there anymore. The interest is still real because no one questions the talent, but the price is lower. And that puts the Warriors in a no-win spot. Trade now and accept less than they wanted, or hold the player and risk watching the value drop even further. Internally, the official line is that there's no obligation to trade Jonathan Kuminga. He's still under contract, there's a team option for next season, and in theory, nothing stops a deal happening later. The problem is theory and practice rarely walk together in the NBA. The more time passes, the clearer it becomes that he isn't part of the coach's immediate plan. And that leaks. Everyone knows. The most realistic view right now is that a trade happens before the deadline, not because it's the perfect scenario, but because the discomfort is growing. If he stays on the roster without playing, the atmosphere tends to get worse. The player gets frustrated, the locker room feels it, the fans start questioning, and the front office looks indecisive. Even if waiting until the summer is possible, the preference is to solve this now, while there's still some negotiating power. But the Warriors' crisis goes far beyond Jonathan Kuminga. It exposes a bigger structural problem that became obvious in the most recent game against the Milwaukee Bucks, and especially in the painful loss to the Los Angeles Clippers. That wasn't just a game lost. It was a clear snapshot of everything that's wrong right now. The final score showed a one-point defeat, 103-102, but anyone who watched knows the story was heavier than that. The feeling the next day wasn't just frustration, it was anger, not only because of the final missed shot, but because it felt like the game completely slipped out of control due to external and internal factors at the same time. There were serious officiating errors, yes, and that has to be said. The play where Gary Payton II attacks the basket and takes clear contact without a whistle changes the entire direction of the game. That kind of foul gets called in any arena in the league. The no call set the bench off. Steve Kerr reacted like any coach would after seeing his players left unprotected. He got hit with a technical and soon after was ejected. Losing your head coach with 7 minutes left in a tight game is devastating. Defensive organization disappears, rotations get messy, and the team's emotions unravel. And as if that wasn't enough, Stephen Curry fouled out on a highly questionable call with under a minute to go. The best shooter in history out of the game in the decisive moment. That takes the spectacle away from the fans and strips the team of a real chance to win. But it would be far too easy to blame everything on the referees. The truth is, the Warriors failed too, and failed badly. The team simply refused to protect the paint. Ivica Zubac did whatever he wanted. He dominated the offensive glass, finished without real contest, and turned the painted area into open territory. Even more worrying was watching a rookie like Kobe Sanders score 20 points, almost all near the basket, with virtually no resistance. That doesn't happen by accident. It happens because of coaching decisions. Trace Jackson-Davis, the only reliable rim protector on the roster, was limited to 5 minutes on the floor. 5. In a game where the opponent was hurting them exactly in that area. The insistence on small ball came with a price. Draymond Green battled and tried to make up for it, but he isn't a natural center. Al Horford helped as much as he could, but size still mattered. Offensively, the Warriors did function for long stretches. Stephen Curry was brilliant while he was on the court. He scored 27 points, hit 6 threes, moved without the ball, and kept the team alive. There were moments when the offense looked like the old days, but in today's NBA, attacking well isn't enough. If the defense is a sieve, any advantage evaporates. In the fourth quarter, the game turned into a fight. The outside shots stopped falling, while the Clippers kept punishing them inside. The frustration was visible. Heavy body language, rushed decisions, and after the coach was ejected, total chaos. With no leadership on the sideline and without their main player at the end, the final possession became a mirror of where the team is. The ball ended up in Jimmy Butler's hands. Isolation, dribble, a contested fadeaway against Kawhi Leonard. A tough shot, a miss, game over. It's not fair to dump everything on him, but the play symbolizes the lack of options and the lack of late-game offensive identity when Curry isn't available. That loss pushes the Warriors further into a dangerous part of the West standing. Games that were under control are being thrown away, and the schedule doesn't help. Big opponents keep coming, with dominant paint players, exactly where this team suffers most. All of that goes straight back to the general manager's desk. This roster, as it's built, doesn't work against physical teams. The constant small ball bet isn't paying off. Whether it's finding more shooting or bringing in a true center, something has to change. You can't demand historic nights from Stephen Curry while the team gives up easy points and ends up depending on perfect officiating. Jonathan Kuminga fits into this context as a trade piece, not an internal solution. His time as a development bet looks like it has passed. The franchise is trying to salvage the final chapter of one of the greatest players of all time, and that demands hard decisions, even if they're unpopular. Right now, the feeling is a total crossroads. The Warriors can't stand still in the middle of the road. Either they change direction now, or they risk wasting another season with Curry still playing at an elite level. This crossroads isn't theoretical. It's practical, daily. Every game that passes without clear adjustments only reinforces the feeling of waste. When you look at the numbers coldly, they scream. Stephen Curry is still producing like a superstar. Absurd efficiency, offensive gravity that reshapes how defenses position themselves. Even so, the Golden State Warriors keep struggling to turn that into consistent wins. That doesn't happen by chance. It happens because the roster, as constructed, doesn't match the franchise's moment. The team is aged. That's a fact, not an emotional criticism. The Warriors are among the oldest rosters in the league in terms of minutes played. While the rest of the NBA got younger, more athletic, and more physical, Golden State tried to hold on to a model that worked in the past, but now struggles to keep up. Small ball, once revolutionary, is now targeted by opponents who know exactly where to attack. That's why the urgency can't be dismissed as exaggeration. This isn't panic, it's reading the landscape. The Warriors began the season with more realistic expectations than in other years, but still believed they could be competitive in the West. The issue is competitiveness without correction becomes mediocrity. Sitting in the middle of the table with no clear identity is the worst place to be. When we talk about collective failure, that includes everyone: the coaching staff, the veterans, and the way young players were, or weren't, developed. Jonathan Kuminga and Moses Moody are clear examples. Talented players who never truly got a real run, a defined role. You can't demand growth when the opportunity never arrives consistently. And at the same time, you can't ask for endless patience when Stephen Curry's clock moves faster with every season. That's the root of the discomfort. The Warriors are living in two timelines at once, trying to develop young players while trying to win now. In practice, they don't fully do either. And the league sees it. Rival executives can tell when a franchise is internally split. That's exactly when offers get harder, colder, less generous. Kuminga's value dropping isn't only about his minutes. It's about the narrative that's formed. A young, athletic wing buried on the bench of a team that desperately needs energy. The question other teams ask isn't whether he has talent, it's why he isn't playing. And when that question doesn't have a convincing answer, the price goes down. At the same time, the front office knows holding him just to hold him can end up costing even more. If he stays through the end of the season in this situation, the summer doesn't guarantee a better market. If anything, it could be worse. Another lost year of development weighs heavily. The team option provides control, but it doesn't create value by itself. Value is built with minutes, impact, and favorable context. The Clippers game exposed that in a brutal way. While the paint was getting hammered, a young piece who could potentially help was sitting and watching. No one can promise he would have fixed everything, but the absence of any attempt is what irritates people. Tactical rigidity has a cost when the plan doesn't work. And it didn't work. The officiating discussion, as legitimate as it may be, can't become a smokescreen. Yes, the Warriors were hurt by big calls. Yes, Kerr's ejection and Curry fouling out changed the game. But the basketball before that already showed deep cracks. Giving up that many paint points isn't an accident. It's a symptom. When a team depends on near-perfect nights from its star just to compete, something is wrong. No one should carry that alone, especially someone who has already given everything to the franchise. The responsibility to surround him with functional pieces belongs to the organization, and that responsibility is open right now. The Bucks game reinforces that contrast. On the other side is a franchise under pressure too, but a different kind. There, urgency is tied to Giannis Antetokounmpo's long-term future. In Golden State, urgency is about maximizing what's left of Stephen Curry's prime. Different pressures, equally real. The difference is, no one imagines Curry asking out. That isn't the point. The point is quieter, and maybe more painful, wasting a final stretch of excellence through lack of boldness. Letting years slip that could have been competitive because you're afraid to miss on a trade. The Warriors aren't several pieces away from relevance. They're one, maybe two correct decisions away. An adjustment that brings defensive balance, physical presence, and rotation clarity. But for that to happen, someone has to pay the price. And Jonathan Kuminga, whether people like it or not, has become that currency. This isn't about turning the player into a villain. If anything, the situation is bad for him too. He's young, he wants to play, he wants a contract, he wants to show his value. Sitting doesn't help anyone. Not the team, not the player. Dragging it out only increases the wear and tear. The moment demands clarity. Either the Warriors redefine their path and accept a deeper transition, or they fully commit to win-now mode and make moves that match it. Sitting in the middle and hoping something magical happens is the worst possible outcome. The Clippers game made that crystal clear. The offensive talent still exists. The defensive identity does not. And in the NBA, without paint defense, there is no future in the playoffs. Big teams will exploit it night after night. And the standings don't forgive. The warning has been delivered. Now it's a question of whether it will be heard. The deadline is approaching. The market is moving, and the conversations are continuing behind the scenes. The next decision may determine whether this season still has a chance at being saved, or whether it will be remembered as another wasted opportunity. If you want to keep following all of this closely with direct analysis, no sugarcoating, no excuses, drop a like right now and subscribe to the channel. That helps a lot and makes sure you don't miss a single chapter of this story, which is still far from over. The Golden State Warriors have always had a special talent for standing out, not only through their on-court performance, but also in how they build their identity and connect with fans. The potential arrival of Kai Sotto to the roster wouldn't just be a technical reinforcement, but a strategic move that could expand the franchise's global influence, connecting different cultures and markets around the world. With a massive fan base in the Philippines, where he is seen as a sports icon, Kai Sotto could be the bridge that tightens the bonds between the NBA and millions of Asian fans. His presence on the Warriors could elevate the team's popularity in Asia, especially in the Philippines, a country where basketball is more than just a sport. It's a true national passion. This move would create a new wave of dedicated fans, increasing engagement and further strengthening the Warriors brand. Beyond the direct impact on the Filipino community, Sotto's arrival could further expand the franchise's reach in international markets. The Warriors have always known how to turn their on-court success into a globally recognized brand, and Sotto could be an essential piece to drive this expansion. With a growing presence in Asia, the team could explore new commercial and strategic opportunities, solidifying their position as one of the most influential franchises in the NBA. But Kai Sotto's impact goes far beyond marketing and the global expansion of the Warriors brand. He has become an inspiration to thousands of young athletes, especially in the Philippines, and his journey proves that basketball can be a powerful tool for change and opportunity. His path shows that with dedication and effort, it's possible to rise from less favorable circumstances and carve out a space among the best in the world. For the new generations, Kai Sotto's rise represents more than just a distant dream. He is the living proof that talent and hard work can overcome barriers. Many young people look up to him and see not just a promising player, but an example of perseverance and courage. Someone who decided to face greater challenges and proved that he can compete at the highest level. If incorporated into the Warriors roster, Kai would have the opportunity to further develop his skills in an environment that values both individual and collective growth. Under the guidance of Coach Steve Kerr, who has always prioritized player development and building trust, Sotto could refine his game and reach a new level, both offensively and defensively. The Warriors system has always stood out for its fluidity, constant movement, and collective play. The team's philosophy is based on floor spacing and active participation from all players in plays, which fits well with Kai Sotto's playing style. With his versatility and tactical intelligence, he could add new possibilities to the team's scheme, strengthening the group even more. Defensively, Sotto's ability to protect the rim and dominate rebounds could be a key differentiator. He has the potential to become a modern center who not only defends effectively, but also contributes offensively, particularly with mid-range shots. Few players in his position have this combination of skills, and it could give the Warriors a new dynamic, keeping the team competitive and unpredictable for their opponents. Another important point is Kai Sotto's adaptability. The Warriors have always required their players to be versatile, and he fits this profile perfectly. In addition to acting as a rim protector, Kai could be a playmaker, helping in the offensive transition and offering new options for the team to explore. One of the greatest advantages for Kai in joining the Warriors would be the chance to play alongside basketball legends like Stephen Curry and Draymond Green. The presence of these veterans on the roster would provide invaluable experience for the young player, who could absorb knowledge and learn directly from two of the most intelligent and strategic players in the league. Curry, globally recognized as one of the greatest shooters in history, is an example of dedication and constant evolution. Having the opportunity to play alongside him would allow Kai Sotto to improve his game reading and further develop his decision-making ability on the court. On the other hand, Draymond Green's leadership and basketball IQ could be pivotal for Kai's growth. Green is known for his game vision and defensive skills, and his mentorship could help Sotto adapt to the NBA's physical and intense playing style. With Green as a guide, Kai could learn to use his height and wingspan as efficiently as possible, becoming an even more valuable asset for the team. Kai Sotto's presence would not be limited to his impact on the court. The Golden State Warriors have always embraced diversity and inclusion, reflecting the multicultural spirit of Silicon Valley. The arrival of a highly projected Filipino player would further strengthen this identity and create an even deeper bond with the Filipino community, which already has a strong presence in the Bay Area. Additionally, the franchise could leverage this connection to promote social and cultural initiatives, organizing special events and actions aimed at engaging Filipino fans. This would not only strengthen the relationship between the team and its fans, but also expand the NBA's global presence, reinforcing the cultural impact of basketball worldwide. On the commercial side, the potential signing of Kai Sotto would bring significant impact. His popularity would drive brands and sponsors to show even greater interest in the Warriors, capitalizing on the visibility he would bring, especially in the Asian market. Sales of official products, such as jerseys and other items related to the player, would experience a major boost, further increasing the team's revenue. The commercial impact would extend to TV broadcasts, advertising deals, and even strategic partnerships to strengthen the Warriors' presence in one of the fastest-growing sports markets in the world. The NBA has always been a league known for its ability to reach global audiences, and Kai Sotto's arrival at the Golden State Warriors could further intensify this expansion. He wouldn't just be another player on the roster, but a symbol of a new phase for the franchise, one that seeks to reinforce its international presence and conquer new audiences. His signing would not only be a commercial move, but also an opportunity to add talent and versatility to the team. Steve Kerr would have the mission of adapting the team's tactical scheme to integrate a center with Sotto's characteristics, making the most of his qualities within a system that values movement, collectivity, and basketball intelligence. If you enjoyed today's content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any details of the next news. Your support is crucial for us to continue bringing everything about our team. See you in the next video.